Hey folks, joining Bushcraft Survival. So today we're exploring 4 different things you can carry in the woods with you to help you start a fire, and then also 4 different materials you can gather off the wilderness to help you effect fire. Stick around to find out what these are, guys. Now for me, guys, coniferous trees is the best place to gather fire-making material off the landscape. Why? Because of this little thing called fat wood. Fat wood, like you guys can see here, the orange type wood in this broken down branch you cut earlier, is actually, to me, this most supreme way to actually make a fire in the eastern woodlands. Now, I look for a wrist-sized dead branch at an angle, like here, and I cut near the base as close as possible. Now, when you cut into the actual branch itself, guys, make sure that you can smell the turpentine or pine sol scent. If you can't, more than likely there's not enough or any fat wood in there at all, so be aware of that. Now here you guys can see that orange dark perimeter inside that branch. That is the fat wood, and there's actually a lot of fat wood in this branch. Again, wrist size, dead branch, guys, and the added bonus, this one has punk wood. Another thing I'd encourage you guys to try to find is dead hanging vegetation. In this case, I'm looking at pine needles. Now, dead hanging vegetation needs to be exposed to the sun and the wind if possible, if not, at least high and dry, guys. That's what you're looking for when looking at dead vegetation for bird nests or tinder bundle material. Alright guys, when I gather this stuff, I always gather more than I think I'm going to need necessary, just so I have some extra on hand for later. Now, like any ADD person, I'm going to talk about man-made materials you probably have in your backpack, if not what you should carry with you in your bag to help you effect fire. So first we have a lighter and duct tape, hand sanitizer, some jute twine, lip balm, and a cotton rag. And I'm going to show you guys how to start a fire with each of these. Alright, so first up is duct tape, guys. Duct tape has 1,001 uses. You wrap around your lighter, around your ferrocene rod for a handle, just duct tape in general for repairs, whatever, right? So duct tape is great because it is actually highly combustible, especially to open flame and or ferrocene rod. Alright, so what I did here, guys, I just simply tore off about a foot length of duct tape, maybe 10 inches, something like that. I'm going to roll it up into a match-like shape. I find that to be best personally, and what I'm going to do is give myself roughly a 3 to 4 inch handle. And when I get to the last 4 to 6 inches on that length of duct tape, I'm going to wrap it around itself like a big match head. That way you have nice long burn time and big handle. That way it's going to help keep you safe and not burn yourself on the duct tape. So pretty easy, guys. Just take your lighter, hold it up against the duct tape there, and light it on fire. It should burn, depending on the size of the match you made, roughly anywhere from 30 seconds up to 4 minutes. Alright guys, so here's an example of me just kind of rolling the duct tape match inside some dead pine needles. It works great, combusts easily, and honestly when you get your pencil size or pencil lead size kindling all ready to go and this stuff's just going and blaze, easy peasy for a fire. Alright, up next we got some hand sanitizer, pretty common item, especially for carrying nowadays in the outdoors. And to prove that it's actually there, I'm going to burn some pine needles in this scene. I do apologize, you guys can't see the flame very well at all. Alright, so now for example, guys, I'm just going to put some on a dead pine needle bundle, and I'm going to use a lighter, light it right up. You guys can see how easy that actually catches fire. There you go. Next, guys, I'm going to show you jute twine. It's going to absorb that hand sanitizer just like a lamp wick, and it's going to burn the hand sanitizer off first, as you guys are going to see. Alright, so now guys, we have the cotton rag and the lip balm method here. Simply just cut off like a piece of cotton rag, however you want it to be. Get some lip balm that is high in petroleum or natural oils that are flammable. Going to take a big chunk of that out of the little jar there, for example. And we're going to squish that into the cotton material and make sure that it's actually soaked with the oils of petroleum coming out of that lip balm, and roll into a cigar shape. Now, obviously, another method is if we don't want to sacrifice, say, an extra cotton rag or whatever, we can use jute twine. It really works the same way, guys. Just make a jute ball or a jute cigar, one of the two, and squish the petroleum lip balm into the actual jute twine itself. It's going to light up and pretty much burn like a candle. Now for the ferrocene rod and jute twine trick here, guys. Now jute twine is great because it's a natural material and you can actually sit there and unbraid it quite easily. And you're going to render that down to a big fluffy ball, which is going to symbolize kind of like cat and tail fluff or milkweed seed pod fluff. As you guys can see there, it's not going to take much more than, say, a few shavings and a simple flick to get that on fire. Alright guys, so say we don't have any of that stuff in our backpack or, our EC system, whatever. We can actually get some natural materials such as dead pine needles, like I pointed out before, some more recent pine sap, dried pine sap from trees, and I can consider the king of the forest here, fat wood, guys. Now, when I use dead pine needles, all I really do is take some jute twine if I have some, or some pine needles or roots or whatever, and kind of tie the bundle together, and preferably have a metal lid top there, guys. It's going to help keep the, ferrocene rod sparks alive longer than on the ground or a stump, and hopefully it catches your pine needles on fire, like so, and it's going to burn pretty quick, so either have a bunch of pine needles or have your tinder sources ready to go. Now, next is obviously pine sap here. You can use a ferrocene rod with this stuff, guys. You can crush it down to powdery like substance. It's just easier to honestly to use a lighter, get the stuff on fire. Just like duct tape, it's more of a flame extender, and it actually is pretty good at being water resistant and wind resistant too when you get the pine sap going. And quite frankly, it will burn for roughly 2 to 5 minutes depending on the size of hunk of pine sap you have on fire. Alright guys, so to find the fat wood inside the big branch here, we're just going to render it down to small kindle-like size sticks. That way we can actually shave and create feather sticks easier and get the fat wood to where we need it to be. Alright guys, so this is kind of why it's important to have a sharp 90-degree spine object, if you will. So either the back of your saw, back of your knife, a striker, something like that, guys, where you can actually take that metal implement and shave off little fat wood shavings, because this is going to be the best method possible to start a fire with a ferrocene rod in the eastern woodlands, in my humble opinion. As you guys can see, it's not going to take much to actually get a fire going here. Alright, so another method we could do with fatwood, guys, is the feather stick method here. I'd only really opt for this if you have a ferrocene rod that's flat, so there's no handle in the back here, because you can shoot the sparks down into the feather sticks itself. That does work, a little trickier. But an easier option, guys, is simply to make feather sticks. I would probably opt for at least 4 feather sticks of fat wood, and then use a lighter to light all these on fire for a good flame extender that's actually decently water resistant. Alright guys, as an added bonus, I'm going to actually show you the water resistance level of fat wood here. I'm going to soak this in water from my canteen, obviously, and as soon as that initial water barrier is evaporated from the heat and the actual fire going onto the branch here, you're going to see that how quickly this actually lights up. and how well it sustains a fire, even when soaking wet like it was. Alright guys, that's it for this video. So some easy, simple ways to start a fire in the forest. If you're new to bushcraft, you know, you probably learned something new here. If you're a seasoned veteran, maybe some new tricks you learned. That's awesome. Either way guys, get out there and train, stay frosty, prep up, ya bless.